I don't design or program. I product manage. So this is the full stack. This is like the icing on the top of the stack, I guess, or maybe the plate on the bottom. I don't know which, but it's kind of outside of the stack a little bit. So when you're product managing, you have a lot of people and a lot of tasks and a lot of freaking things to keep moving along. And it can be kind of like Grand Central Station of just a bunch of tasks, a bunch of QA stuff to have happen. You have to make sure that all the developers have things that they're working on, that they're very clear about what they're working on, because they get very angry if you don't write clear specs and stuff. And designers don't like to redo work either. So it's a challenging job. And so managing information and workflow is like the name of the game for if you want to be a product manager or a project manager, I guess. So I'm going to show you something today called Trello. How many of you have used Trello? Great, half the room uses Trello. Awesome. Well, good night. Truthfully, though, some people, if they're just getting into project management or they're just doing a startup or their team's growing or something, they're like, I've heard I should use Trello, but I don't really know how. Like, what should the columns be? How do I think about cards? I named a column that says really important. Is that right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it is actually something that I think product managers, I would have actually liked to got a quick rundown of before I learned some lessons the hard way. So roughly speaking, it's a Kanban board. Kanban is a method for managing knowledge with the emphasis of just-in-time delivery while not overloading the team members. It was developed in auto manufacturing and kind of brought into the software industry. And this approach, well, let me skip that. Because I'm going to talk about the approach. What is good and what is bad? Actually, I'm only going to talk about the good. 5 minutes, not enough to talk about all the nuances. So the cool thing about a Kanban board is that you capture the entire life cycle of the task. So if you've ever worked at an agency where you're working in some like specific thing and kind of a task gets thrown over to the wall and you're like, okay, I don't really know where this came from or if it's important or whatever, but I know I have to do this little unit of work, and then I toss over to the wall to somebody else. That is Kanban. You can look at the entire life cycle and see the history of a task that's gone through. Everything from spec all the way to the deployment. So status, assignment, and location is all visible at a glance. Who's doing it, what it is, and where it is. Auto polling from the queue is a big deal so that people can be self-directed. They don't have to be told, they don't have to be like given a to-do list. As soon as you're done with some work, you grab something else from the queue. That's a very different philosophy than how a lot of companies run. Why do a Kanban? Well, I just copied Will's slide to show you how last minute this was prepared. He literally had this slide. I just thought it'd be funny to put it. So you optimize your assets. Ass. Okay, and optimizing your assets means having no dumb questions in your thing. Like, hey, so what are you working on today? Can you take this on? Or where is this? Has this thing been QA'd yet? All of that is answerable just by glancing at the board. So that means better development through peer pressure. When everybody sees what you're working on, it's very clear that something's been in your task for a long time. So it's kind of nice just to have like everybody seeing what everybody else is doing. It actually makes it work great. And then let me kind of show you what our working board looks like. So, ooh, really zoomed out. Yeah. Okay, so this is like a working board, and I just think it's, I'm gonna go into. Can I go into like display? Aha. So this is like what our working Trello board looks like, and I just think it tells a whole lot just by glancing at it. So if I kind of cut this last part off, so pretend this column isn't here. This is kind of those last 5 columns is kind of your standard Kanban, your standard kind of workflow for a software development. You have things that you've prioritized in the queue, bugs, which hopefully you don't have a lot of. When things appear in bugs, they get added automatically for us through other integrations that we have with like Bugsnag and stuff. So those come through there. Also, we can kind of get them automatically put in from Zendesk, which is our customer support. Things enter development, so I can see with the faces who's working on what. And then things move to different environments. We have a staging environment and a production environment. Every week, at the end of the week, we archive all these production environment cards and kind of clear out the space for the next round of work, and things go from the queue from the left all the way to production. And timer.